Cop by the cop in the restaurant. All right, I had a conversation with William Goldman a few years ago, and I was wondering if you'd agree with us that these are really difficult times for a satirist, if only because it's increasingly difficult to keep up with the weirdness of real life.
It's true. Yeah. Because it seems like we're living in an absurdist era. So therefore, you got to find, certain ways to bring a movie about without everybody just going, yeah, so what? Try to find a way in on the comedy, because the comedy is, if you can make it work, it's exciting. Most comedy today has a tendency to be much more slapstick and basically not connected to anything that's really going on in life. So it's a difficult task now.
But this comedy, this film Wag the Dog, it's almost like having bifocals on, because you look at it as a comedy and then you realize, but this really isn't that far removed from reality, or at least our darkest suspicions about reality.
Sure. Well, I think that's good. That's good satire. Strangelove in its time, was talking about nuclear proliferation and what'll happen if suddenly the bombs are starting to drop. I mean, that was a pretty dark topic, extremely funny, whatever. I mean, satire needs enough credibility to launch itself. Otherwise, it just becomes fluff.
Now, how did your two stars come to be involved in this, and what did you see in them that made the light bulb go over your head and say, yes, these two guys, these two roles?
Well, I think what happened is they wanted to work together again, because they played a couple of roles in Sleepers, and they went to do something, and we met and talked about the project. There was this book, and then I had conversations with David Mamet, and we kept talking about it, and it kind of moved further and further away from that, and that's how WAG evolved. So we knew that we had two roles between for Dustin and De Niro, but we weren't sure who would play what, and we weren't sure how those roles were going to work initially, and then they evolved into what you see.
Do you think after making this film you'll never be able to look at a TV newscast about some sort of foreign crisis again without thinking, hey, wait, they're stealing from my movie?
Well, I mean, I have that feeling a lot of times anyway. That, by the nature of media, which is so instant and so fast, that it's very easy to get something, wrong until the hours pass, until you can finally find out what was really going on. First, the camera points, and then you're reporting what's happening. But later on, you may find that the circumstances can differ very much from what we see. And that's part of the dangers of it. It's not that it's an irresponsibility of the press. It's a different kind of, media today, and how much can the media be manipulated? Because this is not a movie about the media manipulating. It's about those who now know how to manipulate the media. Seeing is believing, supposedly. But now with digital technology, that you can create images that are so real that it's impossible to tell the difference. And if those things are given to any television station, how do we know? And that's a real confusing world, when you don't even know if what you're looking at is real or it has been digitally done. So that gives you an idea to jump off, and that's where, WAG starts to take off.
What do you see as the proper role of the filmmaker, the observer, in dealing with this sort of usurpation of reality by the spin masters?
What is our role? I think it's, other words, I don't think it is our job to tell what's supposed to be done or how it's going to be done or anything. I mean, it's simply we're saying, look, these are all the things that exist. Here's what's going on in politics. This is what Hollywood's doing. Here's the way you can kind of twist and manipulate certain things we've heard about. And these are potential dangerous things that are beginning to collide with one another. And we find it in a way where I think it is an absurdist, satirical kind of humor. And then you put that out. You're not trying to have an agenda and saying, you have to believe this and you have to believe that. You could enjoy it on the level of there's enough there that we know to have fun with it and ask some questions about it as well.
very successfully. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
I was doing some